Good evening. Would you stand with me for the invocation and pledge of allegiance, please? This evening we have Stan Coberly with us to give us the invocation. You may go to the counter. You can do whatever you want, sir.
Is it all right if I remove this?
Yes.
Since I'm not too close to anybody? Okay. Breathe a little better. Well, thank you for the invitation to give opening prayer this evening. And as I usually do when I speak or pray in front of a group such as this, I like to recognize that other people have different various religious beliefs or non-beliefs. So as I pray our prayer, pray in a manner that you're accustomed and feel comfortable and free to do that. Let's bow our heads. Almighty God, thank you for the blessing and opportunity to enjoy another day as a council of leaders in Vienna, West Virginia, meet to conduct deliberations on how best to serve citizens of this community and to preserve the quality of life and fellowship we hold precious and necessary. We ask that you keep your guiding hand upon each government leader, city worker, policeman, and fireman. They desire and need your wisdom, grace, inspiration, and protection as they perform their duties and responsibilities. Dear God, we also ask for your direction to be extended upon our county, state, and national leaders and servants, especially our president, members of Congress and Senate, who have great powers and responsibilities to govern our land in ways to build, protect, and preserve the culture and way of life you have blessed in America since its beginning. Heavenly Father, we know that you have created us as individuals with the ability to reason and rationalize. Despite our differences that exist in thought and philosophy, we ask that you help us to follow your commandments given in John 15 and 12, to love one another and to establish a common ground as we seek to perform our roles in this governing body. We pray that at the end of each council meeting that we will have resolved issues and made decisions that will be fair, honest, and wise, and using the resources you have blessed us with each day. We hope that any and all of our accomplishments will benefit this community and will bring glory and honor to you, our Most High God. We thank you and ask these things in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. Thank you very much.
Mr. Skogstad, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to call to order this regular session of the Vienna City Council for March the 25th, 2021. Let the record reflect that I've taken roll. We'll move on now to the public forum. We have one person that signed up this afternoon, and that would be Brenda Powell.
Thank you. My name is Brenda Powell, and I want to thank Council for giving me the opportunity to come up and speak this evening. Just wanted to say, and to start off, that as I approach Council and I look at things within the city, I want everyone to know that I'm not wanting to complain about things. I'm wanting to actually help in finding solutions or suggesting ideas. And I'm hoping that that will bring a turnaround for everyone. This evening, I'd like to bring up two things. One is actually about the stucco that's on the city building and on the senior building. And I found out that actually there's only one individual that takes care of having a business that does stucco. And I get concerned in the fact that we could end up getting ourselves in a situation to where that we have to pay a lot of money because there's only one company that does that. I just wanted to make a suggestion that maybe in the future that things be looked into a little bit further to where that you can have other options for the different buildings and whatnot, so that we don't get into that situation. So that's just a suggestion I wanted to make. Another thing is I posted about the actual video tour that the city has on the website for other people in the community to look at. And I had someone say that they were just really glad that video was made. I don't know, I'm pretty sure that it's up to date, but I think it's an awesome thing to do. And as the conversation went on, we got to talking about the caboose down at the Jackson Park. And it has the fence around it. And I made a suggestion, why not think about moving it down to Spencer's Landing at some point, because the railroad tracks are right there. It would be nice to see about restoration, and I'm pretty sure that there are grants that would be available that might be able to help with that. But I think it would be a nice asset down at Spencer's Landing to have that caboose down there. Maybe even have a plaque that talks about how we obtained it or any history about it or whatever. And I think it would be something nice if it's in a well-lit area and to help maybe close to the entrance to where that would help to keep from vandalism, happening to it. It's just a thought, so I wanted to bring that up to you. And that's all I have for this evening. Thank you.
Let the record reflect that I've taken roll, that all members of council are present with the exception of Councilman Bibby. Having a quorum, we will proceed. The minutes from the council meeting held on March the 18th, 2021 have been printed, posted, and circulated. Are there any corrections to the minutes? If there are no objections, then the minutes will stand approved as posted. The report of the treasurer will be given at the first meeting in April. And with that, we move on to unfinished business. On second reading, we have an ordinance codifying the process for the appointment and approval of council liaisons to the City of Vienna, the Police Department, Fire Department, Public Works, Finance Department, and the Vienna Senior Center. I'll entertain a motion on second reading for the approval of the ordinance codifying the process for the appointment and approval of council liaisons to the various departments.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the ordinance on second reading. Is there any discussion?
I have one thing. I wasn't here the first time that it was voted. My understanding it was unanimously moved to second reading. I'd made comments before about the mayor's our city administrator now and moving forward into whatever terms we may see in the future. And I'd made the comment, that as the executive, there needs to be some ability for the mayor to exercise that discretion that we may not all share, because we're not here every day, we're not involved in the inner workings of the city every day. So I wondered whether, as opposed to a simple majority, and it might take Russ a minute to figure out how this language would work, but I would say if the mayor nominates an appointment as a liaison to a department and council doesn't approve, that it should take 5 votes by council to disapprove an appointment, giving some deference to the mayor while still giving council the ability also to participate and manage that. So that's my only comment. I would move to amend to structure that language that would take 5 votes to disapprove a nominee as a liaison by the mayor.
You're welcome to bring that up at a future meeting. It would take an ordinance change. There are certain ordinances in the city that do require a 75% approval. At this point, though, Jim, this is the way we are with this second reading. So
are you saying that because of the way these ordinances work, that I cannot move to amend this ordinance?
I think what the
think that Jim could make
Would
a
you
motion.
speak into your microphone?
Sorry, I forget. I think that Councilman Leach could make a motion to amend the ordinance. I don't think that that would be a material change to the ordinance because it just sets a, I don't know, lack of a better term, of 75%. It just sets a, I guess, a super majority to disapprove of a council person. So I think it could be moved and seconded, or I mean, it could be considered were his motion to have a second as an amendment. I don't think it's a material change to the ordinance, and we're only in second reading here. We're only on second reading here.
Mr. Azinger?
75% of 7, it would take 6 votes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, the way it is, okay,
But it, well, somebody said 70.
That was me. I was just trying to do the
Oh,
math.
I'm sorry.
Well, I went to law school.
I can't do math without this.
So if he wants to make it so it would take at least 5 council members.
Yeah, as I said, I thought that might be a fair balance for what we're talking about trying to do.
Mr. Skogstad, your direction, sir?
Well, Councilman Leach needs to, I guess, iterate it in the form of an amendment. So I think he's done that. He's made a motion to amend the ordinance as proposed, requiring at least 5 council members to disapprove
Yeah, I think
Of-
that would be the easiest way to state it.
of the mayor's appointee. So
Again, my point is it gives some deference to the administrative executive position of our mayor. Anyway, made my point.
Do you all understand what Mr. Leach's amendment is?
I'm looking for the language in the way it's written now.
I think under F, we just have to change it to,
Oh, confirmed by a majority of council.
yeah, instead of
Okay,
confirmed by a
that's it.
majority, maybe just change it to, it would take a vote of 5 council members to disapprove the nomination of the mayor. Russ is the
yeah, I think what you're saying
wordsmith
is
in this circumstance.
I think that what you're saying is that the mayor makes the appointment, and the appointment is confirmed unless 5 members of council vote to disapprove of the appointee.
Okay, all right, so the amendment would be, item number F, all liaisons shall be nominated by the mayor and confirmed by a majority of 5 members of council.
No. I think it would be all liaisons shall be nominated by the mayor and are approved unless at least 5 members of council vote to disapprove the appointee or the liaison.
I think that's the easiest way too.
Okay, did you get that, Madam Recorder?
Yes.
Okay, fine. All right. So we have a motion on the floor to amend the ordinance as presented. I'll second that amendment. All right. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Yes, sir, Thomas. Sorry.
5 would be over 70%. And, in the United States Senate, they have that 60% rule. I think that's far too high. And I speak against the amendment.
I think it's just basically it goes from 4 to 5, 1 additional vote to disapprove the judgment of the mayor. So I don't know the percentages are necessarily what's in play here, but as I say, it just gives 1 vote deference to the executive of our city in making the choices and decisions on those nominations.
Anything else? All right. All those in favor of the amendment to change the wording on item number F, please signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed? Okay, it fails 4-2. And just for the record, okay, Jim, I appreciate your support in this thing, but honestly, for the most point, I don't really care who becomes the liaisons. There are times, though, when it's very important based on certain circumstances that I would like the cooperation. But as far as the appointments to these things, I don't really care. I'll work with anybody, all right? But, you know, it's just, hopefully as we grow as a council together, we'll find a way to understand each other's logic some, okay? So we're back to the original ordinance on second reading, codifying the process for the appointment and approval of council liaisons to the city of Vienna. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, then, all those in favor of the ordinance on second reading, please signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed? 5-1, it passes. All right, so we move on. The next item under new business is a proclamation for Fair Housing Month.
Was that, hold on, Mayor, was that 5-1 or 6-1?
Well, there's only 6 of us here tonight.
Where's who we
Roger's not
Debbie?
here.
Roger's
Oh,
not here.
Roger's not here. Sorry, Mike threw me sitting in the wrong.
Roger,
All right.
nice weight gain. I know you've been working on it.
So the first item on our agenda this evening is a proclamation for Fair Housing Month. So I'd like to read this proclamation this evening. Whereas April marks the anniversary of the passage of the Fair Housing Act of 1968, which sought to eliminate discrimination in housing opportunities and to affirmatively further housing choices for all Americans. And whereas the ongoing struggle for dignity and housing opportunities for all is not the exclusive providence of the federal government. And whereas vigorous local efforts to combat discrimination can be as effective, if not more so, than federal efforts. And whereas illegal barriers to equal opportunity in housing, no matter how subtle, diminish the rights of all. Now, therefore, be it resolved that in the pursuit of the shared goal and responsibility of providing equal housing opportunities for all men and women, the city of Vienna, West Virginia, does hereby join in the national celebration of the 53rd anniversary of the Fair Housing Act by proclaiming April 2021 as Fair Housing Month, and encourages all agencies, institutions, and individuals, public and private, in the city of Vienna, West Virginia, to abide by the letter and the spirit of the Fair Housing Law. Signed this 25th day of March 2021. Randall C. Rapp, Mayor. Thank you. The second item we have on our agenda this evening is a resolution appointing Kathy Smith to the position of Vienna City Court Judge. This resolution, be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Vienna that Kathy Smith, a qualified candidate and resident of the City of Vienna, is hereby appointed as Vienna City Court Judge, subject to all of the provisions and requirements of West Virginia Code 8-10-2B and C, and further subject to the provisions of Vienna Municipal Code 173.01 and others, to serve at the pleasure of council. Mr. Skogstad, before we take this up for a vote, since you're our attorney in this, would you please explain the basics on this?
Yeah, well, a month or two ago, our regular municipal court judge, Will Crichton, resigned. Ms. Smith, who is our city court clerk, has, by virtue of our municipal ordinance, been serving as the substitute police court judge. 2015, we passed an ordinance to allow for that because we had our previous city court judge resign, and we needed somebody to fill the gap. West Virginia Code allows for the provision. We've codified that in our ordinances. The municipal court judges in the state of West Virginia are not required to be attorneys. However, they are required to attend, as our ordinance sets out, an annual instruction or an annual class to essentially allow them to assume the duties of the municipal court judge. So Ms. Smith meets all the requirements because she's been our temporary acting judge. Under these circumstances and under the previous circumstances, Ms. Smith has been nominated to just assume the position full time, and so that's where we are. Lastly, I checked with the West Virginia Ethics Commission, without going into all of the lawyering that goes into coming to these conclusions. The Ethics Commission indicated that there is no bar or prohibition on Ms. Smith serving as the municipal court judge, despite her employment as a City of Vienna employee, and to be blunt, she, among the many duties that she has, she also serves as the police secretary. And I don't know, Mike, if that's the official title, and sometimes I'm a little old-fashioned in my... Thank you. I had an opinion that was sent, and it was a very short opinion, and I followed up with a phone call just to make sure. So that's where we sit.
The other thing that I would like you all to know is that since 1971, yes, 71, Kathy Smith has trained every judge that we've had in that position. She is currently the only one certified to do that job, as she has attended the classes and has met all the requirements. So I'll read the resolution again. Be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Vienna, Kathy Smith, a qualified candidate and resident of the City of Vienna, is hereby appointed as Vienna City Court Judge, subject to all the provisions and requirements of West Virginia Code 8-10-2 B and C, and further subject to the provisions of Vienna Municipal Code 173.01 to serve at the pleasure of council. I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the resolution.
So moved.
Second. Any further discussion?
I'll speak up first. Of course, I'm only one vote, and I'm not in favor of this. I know that Russ has done the ethics committee thing, that contacted them, but my personal opinion, I just don't think it's with her working. I mean, it's not about the individual, 'cause I think she's more than qualified, but I think with her current position with the police secretary / administrative assistant, I just don't think it sets a good precedent of, you know, she works for the police department, and I think the city, I think we haven't sought anyone else out, maybe a retired magistrate or someone, but it won't get my vote because of the employment she now has. But that's just one vote.
Anything else?
I agree with Mike completely. I think that Kathy is certainly served the city well all these years, and she has the experience, and she's a stellar individual. For me, that's not the issue at all. She's highly qualified. I don't like the optics of somebody who works for the police department also being our city court judge. So I'm not in favor either.
Okay. If there's no further discussion, then I'll call for the question. All those in favor of the resolution, please signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed? Motion fails, 4-2. The last item on our agenda this evening is a resolution increasing the incentive compensation plan for the Vienna Volunteer Fire Department from $1,500 to $1,800. This is a resolution increasing the incentive compensation plan for the Vienna Volunteer Fire Department from $1,500 to $1,800. Be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Vienna that it hereby increases the incentive compensation plan for the Vienna Volunteer Fire Department that the city may contribute upon request of the Vienna Volunteer Fire Department from $1,500 for each qualifying Vienna Volunteer firefighter to $1,800, subject to all of the rules and requirements and any changes thereto as are contained in the incentive compensation plan for the Vienna Volunteer Fire Department. I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the resolution.
So, second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the resolution increasing the incentive compensation plan for the city volunteer fire department from $1,500 to $1,800. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, then I'll call for the question. All those in favor of the resolution, please signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed, motion carries 6-0. Steve, please pass that on to your firefighters, and we appreciate their service. I know it's not a significant amount, but we do appreciate their service.
Thank you for your support.
All right, so you may go to class now. All right, that concludes our agenda this evening. Council comments.
I have a comment this evening. I had a resident reach out to me. I had a resident reach out to me. This gentleman lives on Grand Central Avenue, and Grand Central Avenue is obviously a high traffic area for walkers and dog walkers. And he has had a real problem with people not being responsible and considerate when walking their dogs, and the dogs leaving things in his yard that don't belong to him. And so I know that he is not alone, and not even those who are on Grand Central are not alone. Those who live on any side street where folks are walking their dogs. I just ask that residents be good neighbors to each other, and I hope that can ease up through the year. You know, everybody's excited about being out, but we need to be good neighbors to each other. And I appreciate him reaching out to me. And you know, if need be, we may eventually look at trying to get some signage on the side streets. I know that we can't really do it without a great deal of work to get it on Grand Central because it's a state road, but we could potentially do something on the side roads. We're also going to put something in the newsletter. I think it's been in there before, but we're going to try to make sure that that's there on a regular basis. So, thank you.
You know, one other thing I've seen work is when you put up and help people, where you get a little baggie, and you know, and we might be able to, I don't think that would be terribly expensive, maybe strategically locate those. I mean, I don't know, but I see them in like housing developments and a lot of different places, and I think if you've got an opportunity to, and a reminder, and the ability to, so maybe a few of those around might help.
Yeah, agreed.
Other council comments this evening?
Yeah, just one thing I want to mention. I don't want to make this as a request for an agenda item. I mentioned a few council meetings ago, possibly discussing the recreation of, kind of been thinking, you know, what I would call something along the lines of civic promotion, economic development position. And I just want to explore the possibility, see if there's an interest in council. We've got a lot of, especially commercial property, where we're seeing, you know, with people working from home and so on, that brick and mortar is, you know, we've got a lot of that. Plus, you know, but I see this position being, as I think I even put in writing at one point, more than just focusing on commercial economic development, but also recruiting new families to our community, working on promoting through social media the avenues, consolidating and you know, and I think when Lindsay came from the Wood County Economic Development and the materials that she provided to us were of outstanding quality. And I don't even think there's such a need to do that print production because that's expensive. What she brought to us would be expensive to produce, but somebody with the IT skills to consolidate. So anyway, I just want to put that out there for discussion for council to see if there's an interest in doing like, and again, I do couple civic promotion along with economic development, and maybe start working toward at least a, you know, rough outline of what that type of job description and credential or job requirements would be. And if there's an interest, I'd be willing to help work, you know, to develop some of that information and circulate it and see if you know, this is a spot that we could create that would generate return to our community.
Jim, I'd like to add a little something to that. You know, it's getting extremely competitive, getting new businesses to come to the area. There is so much development going on around us in the Mid-Ohio Valley that every city is now getting a lot more interest from other companies. And I think that one of the things that we as a city have to do in order to stay at the forefront of that is to sell ourselves. We have to have someone that can put the image of the city in a premier position and get the word out, you know, the things that we have to offer. And so I would like to see, you know, we don't have anybody on staff that has those kind of abilities on, you know, even if it was a part-time position where we could do, you know, promotions, whatever you want to call them, to interest the public in some of the things that we have going on. I think it would pay dividends down the road a long way. So at any rate, I think that's something that we should consider, even if it's on a part-time basis, someone that has good computer skills and some graphic design skills. So
I think
Alright.
one thing I could add, I think it's pretty straight up as far as, you know, with us being retail, you know, we're landlocked with what we have, but we have something here that nobody has around the area, and that's, you know, I've talked about it forever. It's a sports complex. I mean, some kind of, we have the great facilities. We have a beautiful park. I think we're missing the boat if we don't pursue, like say, and Randy's helped me and Russ with getting rid of that hill. I think we have Sleigh Ride Hill over there. We have a great parks. We're keeping adding on that. You know, I can't stress enough the importance of developing some kind of sports complex. It doesn't take a special person to, I mean, you know, as far as an economic developer or whatever that is, I mean, we have the land. It's just a matter of getting everyone behind this, because it's what we need. We need some kind of sports venue that brings people to our town, that stays in our hotels, eats at our restaurants, and you'll see a dramatic growth in other areas. I mean, we'll bring more revenue in for our city, and it's just it's the wave of the future. It's not going away with this travel stuff, and we have a good rec program, but these travel sports are a huge moneymaker, and we've got a great opportunity. And with Leach and your knowledge of the land covenants and stuff, I think we could do something over there, and make it. I don't think we need to go searching for things. It's here. The idea is here. It's just a matter of us getting behind it as a council and getting this done. That's all I have to say on that one.
Mike, I had an opportunity on Saturday to go down to Neal School and watch the, I won't say elementary school kids because it was small kids. I think they're anywhere from three to 5 or 3 to 6 years old, basketball. And honest to goodness, I had such a great time. Those kids had an absolute ball in there. And it was like, I mean, it was a packed house. And the thing that I really liked about it was almost every one of those kids had a parent with them. And I think if you can get those kids at such an early age to learn all the skills of teamwork and all the other things that go along with it, in addition to the athletic skills, but Vienna Rec, in my opinion, provides something for these young children that is just invaluable. And that's only basketball. I mean, we do soccer, we do baseball, we do basketball, cheerleading, football. And to get these kids at such an early age together in such a great atmosphere, I have to tell you, that basketball league's fantastic. So,
The other thing now, even Ray, I mean, my son's grown up through Vienna and sports, and I got another one growing up with it with Tyson. But when he hits 12, he goes somewhere else, because we have a great field over there that I played on as a kid, but now we can't because it's a soccer field, you know. So now I take my 13-year-old son, take him to other cities to play baseball when we could stay right here and get the same thing done and host tournaments every weekend, you know. And we're just missing out. We've drug our feet on the council. We've talked about it. We've talked about remove of the hill, you know, for years, but nothing's been done. Now we finally have some action on it, but I think we have a diamond in the rough with our recreation sports, because like you said, Randy, it involves the grandma, and no better time than we need now is to have community. We need to bring our community back together. You know, we've all stayed at our homes, we've social distanced, we've worn our masks, but now it's time to create something, an environment in our city that attracts families to come here. They don't have to live here, but when they come, you know, they're going to, like I say, they're eating our places. They're going to shop at our stores. And I think it's just a win-win for everyone, because we have a beautiful city. Now that we've got, you know, Grand Central paved, River Road paved, you know, we got, and you know, Craig's got $1 million to pave our streets, you know, and, you know, I take my son to Jackson in the morning sometimes, and 34th Street, it's embarrassing for, if that's our main high school, middle school in Vienna, to go down 34th Street with all those bumps and this and that, and that's just one of many. I mean, but I think we have the opportunity with the money that we're getting to improve our streets and jump on board with this recreation sports complex. And it doesn't have to be about sports. I mean, it could hold weddings. It could do anything, family reunions. I mean, it's a money-driven thing that, you know, what a return on our investment if we invest in something like that. So I just can't quit talking about it because I'm a sports junkie and I always will be. But I think there's other people out there with the same feeling. It's just a matter of getting the grind the troops and getting this stuff done.
Any other comments?
I do also think, to continue, and I don't know thus far what the efforts have been. I'm sure that there's been collaboration with, the Wood County, commissioners, and, finding out who on the county level can promote us, and, reaching out to representatives to say, hey, we need more industry here. There's always that kind of talking to, West Virginia leaders, our senators and delegates, and then talking to, our representatives in Washington. So I do think that we can continue to work with those folks and say, hey, we're gonna keep telling you what we've got going on here, and I agree with Mike. But I've seen firsthand what other towns smaller than us have done with recreation, and it benefits them economically, and more people move there too, and more citizens is a good thing too.
Any other comments? Meeting adjourned.